Today we are talking about how to earn $40 an hour delivering pizza.
What?
This video is brought to you by our Dining on a Dime cookbook. We have quick and easy recipes your family will love to help you get in and out of the kitchen fast. Please visit us at livingonadime.com. It's 25% off now. All right, I never knew that our comment about making $40 an hour delivering pizza would cause so many people to be in an uproar.
Are there seriously a lot of people in an uproar over that?
We got comment after comment. It was crazy.
Get it together, people.
Honey. All right, so these are some of the comments that we got. You live in Colorado. You must be smoking something if you think you're going to get $40 an hour delivering pizza. There's no way you can get $40 an hour delivering pizza. I don't know who you think you are, but there's absolutely nothing anywhere around here that I can get for delivering pizza for $40 an hour.
Don't be a slacker.
And then we got, I own a pizza chain. I am begging for delivery drivers, and we pay very well, and no one will come work for us. All they do is come in and leave their application for their unemployment benefits, and then don't take the job when we want to hire them. So we thought...
So they don't take the job?
Yeah.
And they still get their unemployment?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He said that he cannot get people to work and that it is an extremely lucrative job. And he said we were right on the nose. So we want to tell you how to earn $40 an hour delivering pizzas.
Well, and besides the fact that this guy said that you can make money, our son has had 2 different pizza jobs where he's made that much money. Three. Yeah. Three different pizza jobs where he's made that much money delivering pizzas. And that's why he kept doing pizza jobs, because he was getting paid a lot.
He was getting paid really well. So here's the thing. It's like any other job. First of all, you have to be determined that you're going to be the very best at your job that you're going to be. And our son, before he started delivering pizzas, he asked all of his friends who were delivering pizzas how they did it, how much money they made, what were some of the best ways to get good tips. He
does that with every job. That's how he's a good sales guy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. He went on the internet and searched how to get the most tips delivering pizzas. He went out and researched what he needed to do on his own time so that he could get a better paying job. Okay, the first thing that he did was he picked areas that were going to give him the best tips. So he picked pizza places that were in nicer neighborhoods, middle to middle upper class neighborhoods, so that he would get the most tips. Now, you're not going to be wanting to deliver to places where it's like a mobile home park or it's a rundown inner city type of a place. They're not going to give you the higher tips. You want to go for the areas that are higher tips. So that means if you don't live in a middle class or upper middle class neighborhood, you may have to drive 20 or 30 minutes to your pizza store to get into that neighborhood. And that would definitely be worth your time to drive to get a good pizza place in a nice neighborhood. Okay, so pick a good neighborhood that will tip well. Next, he really did his research. So he found out that if he carried dog bones and asked permission, and then gave the dogs at the houses a dog bone, he got a bigger tip. It's worth a 10-cent dog bone to get $5 more on your tip. It's kind of crazy. He was polite. He was considerate. He was clean. His car was clean. He made sure that he did all these things so that when people did tip, they felt comfortable around him and they felt okay with him delivering their pizza. The next thing was he hustled.
Yeah, well, he went out of his way to be helpful to people. But the hustle, a lot of people stand around and say, well, okay, I guess I'll have to go do a delivery now. But he was always like, what deliveries are available? When are they going? How can I get them there fast?
Yeah.
He also figured out the fastest ways to get there.
He mapped out the routes before he left the store so that he would make sure that the pizzas got there quickly and hot, and that he was able to do the most deliveries at a time. He was hopping. And so, guys, here's the thing. It is very possible to do that. Now, if you live in an area of the country where it's a really low income or something like that, yeah, you may not be able to get $40 an hour. But pretty much, I don't know, we've lived all over the place. And we've lived in some pretty skanky places.
Well,
but it was a short 20 to 30 minute drive at the most. I mean, at the most, to get to nice neighborhoods.
The thing is, it's easy to say, like here in Colorado, it's more expensive. But the thing is, when we lived in Wichita, which has lower costs, people still tip just as much for pizza.
Yeah.
The main thing with pizza is you actually have to want to do the job, and you have to not just go there to be texting on your phone while you get the minimum pay that they pay you. You have to say, man, I'm here to make extra money. I'm going to do this job. I'm going to do it really hard. It's kind of like the same thing with being an Uber driver or something. You can be an Uber driver, but if you say, I don't really feel like taking this one, then you're not going to make any money. You have to be kind of aggressive and really work hard at that. And that's how you can make a lot of money in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And you don't need you don't need a fancy education or a whole lot of background and other things. You just have to have the drive to do it and the interest in figuring out how to make it work out best for you.
Yeah. And these pizza places, they are begging for workers. They are begging for workers. When our son quit at two of the places, well, one of them went out of business. It wasn't a very good pizza place as far as business wise. It was really good pizza,
but the management
wasn't good as far as business side goes. But the other two places, they were begging him to stay because they didn't have enough help. I have heard story after story after story of people who have quit their jobs and just delivered pizza because they made so much more money, even including taking out gas and insurance on your car. And that's another thing. Pick pizza stores that will reimburse you for your gas and your insurance. They'll give you mileage. And so our son at two of the places, after he realized that pizza places would give you mileage, he picked pizza stores that would reimburse him for mileage. Mm-hmm. So he got reimbursed for mileage. Then he got his base pay and his tips. He was hauling in the bucks.
And it wasn't just one place. It wasn't like dumb luck. He made it. In fact, even after he got done with pizza, he's done other jobs where he's used the same type of skills. And everywhere he's gone, he's prospered in that job. And
he's been the number one salesman.
It's because he's tactical about it. He looks and says, what is my goal? My goal is to make money. How am I going to make money? I'm going to make customers happy. How am I going to make customers happy? I'm going to get them things fast. I'm going to make them feel good. I'm going to take care of them. I'm going to give a dog bone to their dog if they're willing.
Yeah.
So it's just all kinds of things to how do I make the customer happy? How do I do it as quick as they want it? And he's basically thinking tactically, like, if we're going to be in business and succeed, we need to be able to make these people happy.
Yeah.
And then a lot of them, and Tara said middle and upper class neighborhoods, but a lot of them here were just regular middle class neighborhoods. They would tip the same amount as the actual cost of the pizza.
One time he got, was it $100 or $200? I can't remember. He got a $100 or $200 tip from a guy who was an ex-Air Force, officer, but yeah, it must have been officer. Okay, ex-Air Force officer. And he just happened to be talking to BJ about, BJ said something about he was getting his drones pilot license. And the guy gave him, I can't remember, it was like a $100 or $200 tip. And he said, here, this will help you with your schooling. He said, I'm ex-Air Force. And he said, I think that's great. You know, only because BJ was kind and considerate and took the time to say hi to the people and really, truly cared about being there.
Yeah, he got to know the people a little bit. And these weren't the same customers all the time, but he would always, make that effort.
Yeah.
There's one other thing I was thinking, I don't know if you were planning to get to this or not, but for people, when you say, oh, you can't possibly do that, that is a poor mentality. I worked at a grocery store for 8 years and I liked the job, but it never really paid enough. And after a while, I stayed there because I was kind of afraid to do something else. And it was comfortable. And I knew even though the work was really hard and it was grueling and I didn't get paid that much, I knew I could go in and have the same expectation every day, and I didn't have to go real far out of my way to do that. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people are thinking on these jobs is, well, it's just a low paying job, so I'm just going to not. I was giving my all, but at the same time, I wasn't really stretching to do something bigger. And instead of saying, wow, you can't possibly do that, it's better to think, what can I do that's going to pay me more? Because some things like the pizza driving, you have to be a little bit tactical. You have to think, how am I going to make this better? How can I improve what I'm doing here? Or like I said, the Uber or other things like that. But if you're just going to a job so you just go to a retailer that pays minimum wage, you get the job, and once you're there, you just hang out at that job and stay there and just do whatever they tell you that day, and that's all, then you can expect to have a low pay. If you want to be paid more, though, you can use the same skills that you're using at that retailer doing that and paying more. And there's nothing wrong with working at a store like that, but like the grocery store I was, after I had been there for a couple of years and I realized this is all I can expect as far as pay, but my skills are improving, that would have been the time for me to say, maybe I should look at one of these other places, because I saw friends come and go who came and said, wow, yeah, I'm doing a great job here. I like you guys. Oh, hey, look, I found this other place that pays twice as much. And I was thinking, what? Twice as much? What's the catch? Well, that's the thinking that's poor thinking, is what's the catch? Because those places really are there. And instead of saying, oh, you can't possibly do that, if you're in a situation where you're not making that much and somebody tells you that, instead it might be good to say, so how is it that you're able to do that? And is that something I might be able to do? And it's a little scary to step out of your comfort zone, but do it and you'll succeed better.
Well, we're talking a kid who barely graduated high school.
And they told him he wasn't going to make anything out of his life.
His school counselor told him that he wasn't going to make anything out of his life. When she sat there and said that, I just wanted to punch her in the face, because I was like, don't you dare tell my kid that, because I know he's going to make something of himself.
And now he's super successful in sales.
He went from delivering pizzas to doing cell phone and internet and home security sales, making very good money doing that, to now he's an RV salesman, and he's already saying, all right, so-and-so made $450,000 last year selling RVs. I'm going to follow him and see how he do it, because I want to make that much money.
So he's not saying, oh, wow, because there are a lot of people and they make varying amounts of money depending on how much they want to do. But he's just he looks at the guy that's doing the most and says, how can I learn the skills that he is employing to make that happen? Because he's not just lucky that he's making a lot of money being successful at the selling. The other guys learned some sort of skills, and our son realizes that the reason why he's the number one seller is because he has those skills. So his thinking is, how can I learn what he's doing and how he's doing it? And
so on the days when it's snowing and nobody's coming in to look at RVs, what is he doing? He's researching the RVs. He's going out there on his own and looking over every single RV so that he knows how each individual thing works in all of the RVs. He's going and researching the best places to advertise it, and he's advertising on his own. He is hustling even when someone isn't there looking at an RV. He is figuring out better ways. He's talking to this guy who's making $500,000 a year, figuring out his tips and tricks on how he can sell an RV. And his boss called him in. He'd been there a month, and his boss called him in because he'd already sold 3. And he said, what are you doing? And BJ thought, oh no, I'm in trouble. And he said, well, I'm just doing this and this and this and this. And the boss said, that is great. He said, well, you just keep doing that. Guys, even without a college education, you can make really good money. You just have to have the motivation to do it. And that's the number one problem. Why people don't get out of debt and why they don't have better paying jobs is they don't have the motivation. We have lived it. We have been there. And that's why we're telling you now, it's in your head for the reason why you aren't making more money.
Well, and I can speak to that being somebody who let my fear grip me in those moments. Because one thing with our son also, he he looks at those things and he not only says, how can I learn these things, but he says, how can I find other people that are interested in this that people right now aren't really concerned about or don't think is going to work, and how can I make that work? So he's just looked for other ways to sell and other people to buy. But the other thing I was going to mention is there was even a time where I worked in a restaurant as a waiter, and I was this particular restaurant was like my third waiter job, and the other ones had been easier. This one, not so much. What I discovered is there was one guy there, and he was making a whole lot of money as a waiter. And I wasn't at the same place. And I realized it's because I went in to do my job. I got kind of confused about what I was doing and all this. But he kept saying, what is it that people like about what I do for them? How can I improve that? And he was killing it on the money, and the rest of us weren't. And it's not because he was lucky. It's because he thought, how can I tweak what I'm doing a little bit better to make those customers happier?
Yep. So you don't need a high school education. You don't need any specialized training. There are lots of jobs where you can make really good money just trying to be motivated and learning and actually doing the work. It's amazing how many just plain lazy people are out there. And I'll tell you, our son at every job, he's like, Mom, they're just sitting around doing nothing. And they ask me, or they say to me, oh, you're so lucky. Luck has nothing to do with it.
But that's a mindset issue. And it's funny because maybe you're not lazy, but you just have convinced yourself, I'm incapable.
Yep.
I'm worthless. What if I go talk to this person and they say no? Then what's that going to look like for me? Who cares what it looks like for you? You're not there to make everybody like you. You're there to make money.
Yep.
And so that's the thing where I'm preaching to myself because I had that problem for a long time. Because there were things like I would work at the grocery store and think, well, I am working hard. And I was working hard, and I would learn things and become more skilled. But at some point you have to think, okay, but what is my mission here? Is it just to be here and be proud of the fact that I'm working hard and that people like me? Or is it that my mission here is to figure out how to get paid more at my job?
Yep. So you can get paid more. Just figure out a way to do it. You can do it. We've seen it firsthand many, many times. Please check out our how to make 58 ways to make money video. We have tons of ideas in there. $50 an hour to be a personal gardener, guys. You can do it. livingonadime.com. We will see you guys next time.